Did you know that cold, heavy, achy legs after 70 are almost never just getting old? Research on aging blood vessels shows that something specific happens inside your arteries after 60, and it slows the blood trying to reach your legs and feet. The good news is that one simple drink, backed by real university research on older adults, can start working on this within hours, not months. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you will know exactly what to drink, when to drink it, and how much, so you can start feeling the difference in your legs this week. Maybe you have already tried compression socks, elevating your legs at night, or simply pushing through the discomfort, only to find the relief never really lasts. Comment your age below and tell me if your legs feel cold, heavy, or tired by afternoon. I read every comment, and I will be replying to as many of you as I can. Before we get into the science, I want to tell you about something that has genuinely helped many people in this community stay active and mobile as they age. 21-day muscle rebuilding plan was built by a small team who spent real time and effort making sure it actually supports healthy circulation, muscle strength, and everyday mobility, not just empty promises on a label. If you walk, garden, or simply want to keep up with your grandkids without your legs giving out, it is worth 2 minutes of your time to look at. You do not have to buy anything today. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now, or visit the link below and see for yourself what has been built for people exactly like you. Let's start with the drink itself, because you came here for a reason, and I am not going to make you wait. Number 5 on today's list, and the easiest one to fix starting right now, is simply drinking enough plain water throughout your day. Here's what happens when your body runs low on fluid. Your blood becomes thicker, almost like syrup instead of water, and thicker blood moves slower through the small vessels in your calves, ankles, and feet. Research on older adults has linked dehydration to higher blood viscosity, and one review found that roughly half of elderly patients hospitalized for dehydration died within a year, showing just how seriously the body reacts to low fluid levels. Doctors note that older adults often lose their natural sense of thirst, so you can be dehydrated without ever feeling thirsty at all. A simple habit like drinking a full glass of water when you wake up, and another with each meal, keeps your blood moving the way it should. This alone will not solve everything, but it removes one silent barrier standing between you and better leg circulation. Now let's talk about why this happens in the first place, because understanding it will make everything else make sense. Think of your blood vessels like garden hoses. When you are young, the hose is soft and flexible, so water flows through easily. As you age, the inside lining of that hose, called the endothelium, produces less of a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. With less of it, your hose stiffens and narrows slightly, and blood has a harder time reaching the farthest points in your body, especially your legs and feet. Studies show that peripheral artery disease, a condition where leg arteries narrow, affects roughly 1 in 5 adults over the age of 70. Many people live with it for years without a diagnosis, because early symptoms like cold feet or leg heaviness are easy to dismiss as normal aging. This is sometimes called a silent condition for exactly that reason, since the changes happening inside your arteries can progress quietly for years before symptoms become noticeable enough to prompt a doctor's visit. Left unaddressed, poor leg circulation can progressively worsen, leading to pain while walking, slower healing of small cuts, and a real loss of independence over time. It often starts small, a little extra coldness in the feet at night, then gradually spreads until simple things like grocery shopping or playing with grandchildren start to feel harder than they used to. This is exactly why catching it early, with simple daily habits, matters so much more than waiting until symptoms become severe. Let me tell you about Margaret, 74, from Ohio. She noticed her legs felt cold even in a warm house, and by evening they ached so much, she stopped taking her usual walks with her neighbor. She tried compression socks and elevating her legs at night, but the improvement was small and temporary, and she started avoiding stairs altogether. A friend mentioned the research on nitrate-rich beetroot juice, and Margaret was skeptical, since she had tried plenty of things that did not work. Within about 2 weeks of drinking it daily, she noticed her feet felt warmer by dinner time, and within a month she was back to her full morning walk. Today, she says she finally feels like herself again, and that small daily habit gave her back her routine. Comment cold legs or heavy legs below if you have experienced this yourself. Let me know your age as well, since I am seeing this most often in the 70+ community watching this video. Before we get to the next solutions, let's cover a few things that quietly make leg circulation worse, because fixing the drink is only half the picture. The first is smoking, in any amount. Here's what happens when you smoke. Chemicals in cigarette smoke damage the lining of your arteries directly, reducing nitric oxide production and causing blood vessels to narrow. Research has consistently linked smoking to a dramatically higher risk of peripheral artery disease in older adults. But here's the shocking part most people don't know. Even a few cigarettes a week can measurably reduce blood flow to your legs within minutes of smoking, not just after years of use. The second is sitting for long stretches without moving. When your leg muscles stay still, they stop helping pump blood back up toward your heart, and circulation in your calves and feet slows down. Studies on older adults show that prolonged sitting can reduce blood flow in the arteries serving your limbs, an effect that daily movement can help offset. The third is a diet high in sodium and processed foods. Here's what happens when you eat too much salt. Your body holds onto extra fluid, blood pressure rises, and your blood vessels are placed under greater strain over time. Most seniors don't know that many healthy-sounding canned soups and frozen meals contain over half a day's sodium in a single serving. The fourth is crossing your legs for long periods while sitting, which can compress blood vessels behind your knee and silently restrict flow to your lower leg. Robert, 68, used to cross his legs for hours while reading, and his podiatrist eventually pointed to that habit as one reason his feet felt numb by evening. Once he switched to keeping his feet flat on the floor, the numbness faded within a couple of weeks. Let me tell you about Linda, 79, a retired librarian who spent most of her afternoons in her favorite armchair with her legs crossed and a bag of pretzels beside her. Her feet had started going numb by early evening, and she assumed it was simply something that happened with age. After learning about how crossing her legs and her sodium intake were affecting her circulation, she swapped the pretzels for fresh fruit and made a point of keeping her feet flat while reading. Within about 3 weeks, the evening numbness had noticeably faded, and she told her daughter she finally felt like she could trust her own legs again. I'm guilty if you've been doing any of these. Don't worry, you're about to learn exactly how to fix it, starting with the next solution on our list. Stay with me, because the next one might be sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. Number 4 is pomegranate juice, and this one surprises most people. Do you know what happens when you drink pomegranate juice regularly? It delivers a concentrated dose of plant compounds called polyphenols that help protect nitric oxide in your bloodstream from breaking down too quickly, allowing your blood vessels to stay relaxed and open longer. Key benefits researchers have observed include reduced markers of blood vessel inflammation, improved flexibility of artery walls, and support for the same nitric oxide pathway that beetroot juice targets, working through a slightly different mechanism. A systematic review of clinical trials found that pomegranate consumption significantly reduced a marker called ICAM-1, which reflects inflammation inside blood vessel walls, an encouraging sign for long-term vascular health. Traditional Mediterranean diets have featured pomegranate for centuries, valued long before modern science could explain exactly why. For practical use, aim for about 8 ounces of unsweetened 100% pomegranate juice, ideally in the morning, and check the label carefully since many bottled versions are diluted with added sugar. Give this 4 to 6 weeks of consistent use, since polyphenol benefits tend to build gradually rather than appearing overnight. If the tartness is too strong on its own, try mixing it with sparkling water or a small amount of unsweetened cranberry juice, which keeps the sugar content low while still making it enjoyable enough to stick with daily. Number 3 is flavanol-rich cocoa. And yes, that means a little dark chocolate can genuinely help. Here's what happens when you consume real cocoa flavanols. They trigger your blood vessels to release more nitric oxide, encouraging vessels in your limbs to widen and allowing more blood to reach your calves and feet. In a clinical trial published through the American Heart Association, older adults with peripheral artery disease who drank a cocoa beverage with meaningful flavanol content saw improved blood flow to their calves and better muscle function compared to a placebo group over 6 months. Other research in healthy older adults found that cocoa flavanols could measurably improve blood flow patterns even during long periods of sitting. The key is choosing cocoa or dark chocolate that is at least 70% cacao, since heavily processed chocolate loses most of its flavanol content during manufacturing. A small square of quality dark chocolate or a cup of unsweetened cocoa made with real cacao powder in the afternoon works well. Expect subtle improvements in warmth and comfort within several weeks of consistent use, alongside the other habits on this list. Before I reveal the number 1 solution, which of these has surprised you most so far? Comment below and let me know. Number 2 is walking, and I know this is not a drink, but the research is too strong to leave out. Do you know what happens when your calf muscles contract during walking? They act like a second pump, squeezing blood back up through your veins toward your heart, actively assisting your circulation with every step. A major clinical trial found that supervised walking programs increased maximum walking distance by an average of nearly 600 feet compared to those who did not exercise, and home-based walking programs produced meaningful improvements as well. Even a gentle 10 to 15-minute walk done most days can help maintain the pumping action your legs depend on. Traditional recommendations from vascular specialists consistently emphasize regular walking as one of the most effective ways to manage circulation concerns in the legs. Start slow, walk at a pace where you could hold a conversation, and gradually build up your distance over several weeks. Many people notice less stiffness within the first 2 to 3 weeks of consistent daily walking. If pain in your calves stops you after just a few minutes, that is common with reduced circulation, and the research actually shows that walking to mild discomfort, resting briefly, then continuing, can build tolerance more effectively than pushing through caffeine or avoiding walking altogether. Finally, we arrive at number 1, the drink from the title of this video, nitrate-rich beetroot juice. Do you know what happens within about 2.5 hours of drinking concentrated beetroot juice? In a study of healthy older men with an average age of 69, researchers measured a direct improvement in blood flow through the femoral artery, the main artery supplying the leg, after a single dose. The nitrate in beetroot converts into nitric oxide in your body, the same molecule your aging blood vessels struggle to produce on their own, essentially giving your circulation a natural boost. Key benefits shown across multiple studies in older adults include measurable drops in blood pressure, improved artery flexibility, and increased blood flow response during passive leg movement, all within hours of drinking it. One study following older adults over several weeks found blood pressure reductions alongside improved large vessel function after regular beetroot juice consumption. Beets have been used in traditional diets for generations, but it is only in the last 15 years that researchers have pinpointed nitrate as the active mechanism behind these effects. For practical use, look for concentrated beetroot juice shots, roughly 2.5 to 5 ounces, consumed about 2 to 3 hours before your most active part of the day, such as your daily walk. Some people prefer fresh juiced beets blended with a small apple to improve the taste. Give it 2 to 4 weeks of daily use, since while some effects appear within hours, the more lasting vascular benefits build with consistency. If the earthy taste takes getting used to, starting with a smaller amount and gradually working up to a full serving over a week or two tends to make the habit much easier to stick with long term. Here's what makes this powerful. These solutions are not meant to be used alone. Nitric oxide from beetroot juice works even better when your muscles are actively pumping blood through walking. And the polyphenols in pomegranate and cocoa help protect that nitric oxide once your body produces it. For breakfast, try a small glass of beetroot juice about 2 hours before your morning walk, paired with a glass of water. For lunch, add a side of pomegranate seeds or a small glass of pomegranate juice alongside a lower sodium meal. In the evening, enjoy a small square of dark chocolate or a warm cup of unsweetened cocoa, followed by a short 10-minute walk after dinner if your doctor has approved that level of activity. Together, this routine supports your circulation from multiple angles throughout the entire day, rather than relying on a single fix. None of these steps require expensive equipment or a gym membership, just a bit of planning around meals and movement you were likely already doing in some form. A few important safety notes before you try any of this. If you take blood pressure medication or blood thinners, talk with your doctor before adding concentrated beetroot juice, since the combined effect on blood pressure can sometimes be stronger than expected. Beetroot juice can also turn urine or stool a harmless pink or red color, which can be surprising if you are not expecting it. If you have kidney stones or a history of oxalate-related kidney issues, ask your doctor first, since beets are relatively high in oxalates. Anyone with diabetes should watch portion sizes on fruit juices, since natural sugars can affect blood sugar levels, and pairing juice with a meal rather than drinking it alone can help minimize any blood sugar spike. None of the solutions in this video are meant to replace medication your doctor has prescribed, and this video is not a substitute for a proper medical evaluation of your specific symptoms. And if you ever notice sudden leg pain, one leg becoming noticeably colder or more swollen than the other, or a wound on your foot that will not heal, contact your doctor promptly, since these can be signs of a more serious circulation problem that needs medical attention. These warnings are not meant to scare you away from trying these habits. They are simply here so you can use them safely and get your doctor involved when it truly matters. Poor leg circulation after 70 is common, but research consistently shows it is not something you simply have to accept. We covered why aging affects your blood vessels, the daily habits quietly working against you, and 5 research-backed solutions, from simple hydration to the beetroot juice that gave this video its title. None of these steps demand a complete lifestyle overhaul, and that is exactly the point, since small, consistent changes tend to outlast dramatic ones that are hard to maintain. You now have real research-based knowledge that many people your age are never given by anyone. This is genuinely within your control. One glass, one walk, one small habit at a time, and you do not have to accept cold, heavy legs as an inevitable part of getting older. Comment one of 3 things below: your age and how your legs currently feel, which solution you are trying first, or any questions you still have, and I will personally reply. If this video helped you, subscribe for more research-backed videos on healthy aging, because next week we are covering the surprising link between sleep position and swollen ankles, and it is something that affects far more seniors than people realize, so you will not want to miss it. Share this video with someone who needs this information today. You might just help them get their independence back.